Well, you've talked about, you said you've seen, well, I was going to ask you how the regulations affected your business. You said you've seen about 70% decrease in foot traffic.
I mean, as far as regulations go right now, there hasn't been any that are actually, as hell, haven't been many that have gone into effect. However, come May of this year, which is right around the corner, all these FDA regulations are supposed to go into effect. In other words, meaning that, this device is very old. And as far as the technology world, this is like ancient. The devices we had before this are what they're trying to push us back to. They're basically saying that anything that wasn't on the market before '07 has to be removed from the market.
Oh, man.
And has to submit a PMTA application.
Now, what is that exactly?
Pre-market tobacco application.
Okay.
Which is basically they're trying to put us through the same loop and treating us as the same as they do Philip Morris. And
who has a lot of money?
Who's got all the money, they can do whatever they want, or the major buyer comes, big buyer comes, whatever. And we are just, we're a bunch of. This is a consumer market. Really, it is. It's this whole industry is a consumer industry. This was founded and made and started and continues to be run by consumers
trying to escape tobacco.
Yes. I mean, it's trying to escape tobacco, trying to actually provide a better life for themselves as well through, better gains, so to speak. It's not only just, financial, it's personal as far as, the actual uplifting and the feeling of actually being able to help somebody and be a change in that person, and of course that person's life, and give them, and maybe possibly even give them, a few more years onto their life. Otherwise they wouldn't have had they stayed smoking. Yeah,
because it wasn't really many alternatives out there.
No. But they're trying to push us back to that, and they're also, and then each, like I was saying back at the meeting we were at.
Yeah.
Each thing has to have a PMTA. This tank, PMTA. This mod, PMTA. Make a different color of this mod. Same mod, PMTA.
Just to change the color.
Mm-hmm. Different wattage, different chipboard in it. PMTA. And those applications are ranging. Or let's get even more ridiculous. For those who weren't at the meeting with us, just like this 30 ml bottle of liquid. Okay. This here is, we'll say it's a strawberry flavor. All right. It's a 30 ml bottle, 6 milligram. That's one PMTA application. That's an average of between $150,000 to about, can be up to, I think it was $500,000. Just to follow up one of those. Okay. Now let's say I got a smaller bottle, same flavor, which is a strawberry flavor, same milligram strength. Well, guess what? That's another PMTA application.
And who's imposing this? The FDA?
FDA. This was brought into effect. They're using the Obama's Family Prevention Smoking Act of 2007 to usher all this and take control of the vapor industry. Ironically, the vapor industry has nothing, and I repeat, nothing to do with tobacco. The only similarities we have are the actual use, the way it's used, and nicotine. And hell, even the nicotine itself is not completely derived from tobacco itself. You can get nicotine from your everyday veggies, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, all this stuff. We all have natural nicotine receptors.
I've heard that.
And we're also right now, I hear there's also companies right now who are actually synthesizing and making synthetic nicotine to even try to get further away from the FDA regulations. But they're lumping this all in one sum and putting us into as if we were Philip Morris or R.J. Reynolds or L'Oreal or whoever.
And all that does is it reduces the amount of products available to the consumers and increases the cost of the consumer.
Exactly. And on top of it, it also puts money back into, it'll push, with that, and then with that spike in costs, one of the major benefits of vaping, and I'll be honest with you here, I wanted to quit smoking. But I didn't like the money. I also like my money better than I did, everything else. So, when I switched to vaping, I realized how much money it was actually saving me. You know, I would blow I was at 2 packs a day, which basically be a little bit over a carton a week. And at the time, the carton was about $60-$70 a week. I'd go through.
Wow.
Okay, versus.
Which we're talking about $3,000 a year, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Versus a 30 ml ball at the time, but keep in mind this was at that time.
Yeah.
Things were a little bit higher. Even then, as far as like the liquids and whatnot go, 30 ml ball was like $15. Now, granted, that using something like this was about a month's supply. So I went from that every what is it, like $70 a month? I mean $70 every week to $15, not even good for a month.
That's incredible savings.
Yes, exactly.
And think about it, if you're a parent, you're sitting there smoking, you switch to vaping, you get the satisfaction from it, but now you have so much better money, who knows? It could improve the child's education, your education, who knows what.
Exactly.
Which all it does is you as the entrepreneur are saving money, making it more affordable to consumers. Now they have extra money to put elsewhere in the economy.
Right, exactly.
And now the FDA is going like, hey, let's take all that away from them.
Let's jack that back up and run them back to smoking because, quite frankly, it's no mystery here and now that, it's not just the buyer companies that are losing money on this, on all vaping and, vaping being a thing. It's also when it comes down to it, you have the pharmaceutical industry's losing as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they are losing money in their quit methods that like I said earlier, we know don't work. Or halfway works, or causes, some serious benefits like homicidal, suicidal thoughts. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I had just recently, and a friend of mine that was actually taking Chantix. I tried to get him to quit smoking and still vaping. He's got stage 4 lung cancer, actually.
Oh, jeez.
He's got half a lung here, and the other one is going. He recently went through some pretty tough spot. He was taking a pill, taking Chantix. He snapped and almost really hurt somebody.
And it really wasn't his fault.
It wasn't him. It was not his personality. That is not him. And the minute I found it, and it's not the first case. This is the first personal case I've seen about it. You can look on the internet, you can find there's quite a few other people that have actually either tried to kill themselves or tried to kill somebody else.
And they're out there driving.
Because they are taking it all because of the Chantix.
Because they still got to go to work.
Yeah, they still got to go to work.
I know my aunt took it, and she said it gave her nightmare so horrible that she couldn't take it any longer. It just really bothers people.
So you think something that it comes along that doesn't have any of those side effects and actually works? Do you think one of our biggest competitors is going to let that happen?
No, because they fight dirty.
Exactly.
They don't compete very well.
Guess who has special cuts for the FDA?
Who's that?
Pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, I see.
You see, they're all intertwined in.
Oh yeah, what they call the swinging doors or whatever. Yeah, the rotating doors. Yeah,
they're all entwined each other. So if they're not making money off of their quit methods, you're not getting sick. You're not coming to them for the cancer. Cancer is like a multi-billion-dollar industry a year.
Oh yeah, they building more and more facilities every year, right?
With more healthy people comes less profits for pharmaceutical companies. That will try to treat you. Here's the kicker. They don't try to cure. They treat.
Right.
Because, a customer cured is a customer lost. At least in the eyes of the pharmaceutical companies. If you're cured, you ain't coming back for those treatments. So you're not constantly giving them money, more money. It's
a sad way.
Yeah. And it's like, it's pretty sad that somebody or a company or whatever will sit and try to leech off of a dying person to make their ends. That's complete bullshit.
Well, it's kind of like you mentioned earlier that our society is changing where people are becoming hostile towards each other. Maybe that's just the fact that a lot of people are looking at each other less with human respect and love, and maybe that's the thing too, is people are making a profit off of unfair regulations, and that's the way it is too. But something too is you will also sell some products too that if somebody feels like they want to get off of nicotine and stuff, you can sell them vaping products that has no nicotine.
Yes.
But yet it's still satisfying that mental, and that's
if somebody needs it, I actually have. I've had a few, like people that are working like hospitals, nurses, and whatnot like that, who are actually tested for nicotine in their systems. You can't have any nicotine in your system if you already get fired.
But they do the vape.
Yeah, but okay. I'm like that in itself is kind of really stupid,
Right.
Because like I said, we are actually supposed to have nicotine in some form or another. We all consume it in one way or another, but yes, they'll come in, they'll get a zero with no nicotine in, and they'll vape, and they'll just use that. Some people it works, some people it don't. Because the difference between having a vape with or without nicotine in it is the difference of actually having it will punch and the satisfaction versus just flavored air.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not just people that are trying to quit smoking that actually benefits off this either. Believe it or not, I've had, correct me if I'm wrong with this term, but I've had people that are just trying to lose weight and they use it as a diuretic.
Because a lot of doctors in the 40s and 30s and stuff, didn't they actually kind of prescribe cigarettes for people? Yeah. My grandmother was one. The doctor wanted her to lose weight, and he said something you could do to reduce eating, start smoking. Mm-hmm. That's actually how my grandmother started smoking cigarettes. It was by the advice of the doctor.
Yes. You know what? You know something else is really screwed up? Cancer sticks, FDA approved.
Are you serious?
Shit, you're not. Yeah, that goes to show me right there and then and there. I mean, you look at what is FDA approved and what ain't. You look back at the things that they have approved over the years versus what I have, what I'm doing now as far as vaping goes. They actually approved smoking or tobacco use or whatever. They actually, you can look it up on the thing, but yet they're fighting tooth and nail, even back then, when the Royal College of Physicians, out of I think it's England or Britain, one of the two, over in Europe, stood up, and it was a renowned institution, stood up and told FDA, do not approve smoking, do not approve tobacco. It has been linked to cause, we have links to it, it's been shown to be linked to causing lung cancer. They knew that. What did they do? Oh, shut up. We don't need you. You stay on your side of the pond. We're going to do this.
They're messing with the bread and butter.
Right. And so they approved it. Now you have the same people that told them over 60 years ago that, hey, smoking is causing cancer. Vaping is at least 95% safer than smoking. The same institution. What does the FDA says? Fuck you, mind your business, stay on the other side of the pond.
My opinion with the FDA is a violation of the 10th Amendment in the United States Constitution. I wouldn't be too unhappy if it was completely abolished, in my opinion. No. I really don't know if it's really necessary today.
Yeah, I see the FDA is about as useful as an asshole with taste buds.